Hello, welcome to Darasa Online. My name is Mr. Kilewa Ubakari Davidson. I am a geography teacher. Today we are going to look or to start on the topic, the study of soil, and we will focus much on its subtopic of soil classification. So I know because we are making the revision, it means right now you should know what is soil, component of soil, factor for soil formation. You have also to make sure you know what we call the processes involved in soil formation. It means right now we are talking about the pedogenesis of soil. You have to know the properties of soil, both chemical as well as the physical properties of the soil. Thereafter, let's see what is soil classification. By defining what is soil classification refers to the system of grouping soil into its own group with distinctive features. It means we take soil into its own group of the same character with different characteristics to other groups. That's why we say we can refer to an art or science of grouping soil to its own group with distinct features. It means let's see what is soil classification. Soil classification, it means it is a system of grouping soil into its own group or nature with distinctive characteristic. Are we together? It means right now we are trying to put the soil into its own its own group with distinctive characteristic. The characteristic that is different from other group. You see? Or sometimes we can call it soil classification. It is a science or an art of grouping soil into distinctive features. It means it can be an art or the science. It means it is a science because we have to follow the procedure. See, the systematic procedure on grouping soil scientifically. It can be an art because you have to use the knowledge skillful way in order to obtain a certain soil and put it into its own group with distinctive features to different groups. That's why we say it can be a science or an art of group soil into its own group with distinct features. Then remember, in early age or those years ago, they've tried to group soil in different groups. See? And we say the classification of soil is cumbersome. It's difficult to classify soil into its own group because soil, it is made up of many criteria. Are we together? So most of them, they were trying to classify soil into different groups, where at last they were ended into the classification of soil into two major groups. See? Let us see the first group. We call it the empirical soil classification system. Empirical soil classification system. Soil classification system. In empirical soil classification system, they were grouping soil based on soil properties. They group soil based on the soil soil properties. Like we know the properties of the soil right now. It means they may group soil. I mean they do group soil into textures, color, depth, structure, etc. These are some of the soil properties. In empirical soil classification system, it means it is a system of classifying soil based on the soil properties. Soil properties like texture, color, depth, structure, etc. For instance, by looking at soil colors, we are trying to group soil in terms of its color. For instance, there are reddish brown color, reddish brown soil color. It means they have the whitish color soil. You see, they have the blackish soil color. In reddish brown color, it means these are soil whose originated from the parent rock whose color is red brown. Then we have the whitish color, for instance, those type of soil found in limestone areas. Then we have the blackish soil color, etc. So they were trying to classify soil according to color. Then let's see another property, which is depth. They were trying also to classify a soil in terms of depth, either the shallow soil or the deep soil. See, these are the soil what? In terms of depth. You see, we know shallow soil are those soil found in steep slopes, while the deep soil are those soil found in what? In the gentle slope. Then from there, they were based, I mean, in the empirical soil classification system, they were just to give the minutes in this type of the color, but they were based mostly in soil texture, based mostly in texture as its what? As its property of the soil, as its property. So let's see classification of soil based on what? On texture. Are we together? That means in empirical classification systems, they based on soil properties, and they were trying to explain soil in different categories of its properties. But mostly they were based on what? On texture as its property. So let's see the classification of soil according to what? According to texture. So classification of soil according to texture can be classified into 4 main groups. Classification of soil according to what? To texture. Hey student, you have to be very careful right here. It means we have tried to classify soil based on what? On the properties of the soil. So in the properties of the soil, they were based much on what we call classification of soil based on what? On texture. We all know, let's refer first to what is texture. Texture will refer to the fineness or coarseness of what? Of the soily grains or soil particles. It means the smallness or the largeness of the soil particles, we call it texture or soil texture. So what happened, it means right now, if we want to know the fineness or the coarseness of the soil particles, we use what we call the finger testing method to test how fineness or coarseness the soil grains is. It means we use the finger testing method. We take the soil particle and then we rub it into the finger. So the larger the friction, it means the larger the particles. The less the friction, it means the smaller or the fineness is the particle. So according to the empirical classification system based on soil texture, we have four types of soil according to texture. According to texture, we have the what we call the sandy soil. See, I mean we have the clay soil. We have the sandy soil. We have the silty soil, and the last one we have the loamy soil. So these are the four types of soil according to texture. So what happened to this system of soil classification? It means they were trying to classify soil based on its diameter of the soil particles. See, so they found it there are soils with fine particles soil texture. We call them clay. We have the sand soil, it depends. We have the coarser sand, as well as the smaller sand. We have the fine sand, we have the silty as well as the loam. Remember, the loam soil is a result of the combination of the three type of soil texture. So let's see the characteristics of each soil texture. Are we together? In classifying soil according to texture, you have to explain the characteristic of each soil texture based on what? On diameter, size. So we start with sandy soil. We start with sandy soil. Sandy soil, it is a type of soil texture. I mean soil according to texture. Soil according to texture with a particle size, with diameter, particle size diameter range from 0.02 millimeter to 0.2 millimeter. See, we say sandy soil is a type of soil according to texture with a particle size with a diameter of what? Of from 0.02 millimeter to 0.2 millimeter. Let's see the characteristic of sandy soil texture. It is easy to cultivate. It is easy to cultivate. It has poor retention capacity. You see, it has poor retention capacity. It is easy to cultivate because of its large, we say, the empty space within it. Then it has poor retention capacity. It is a very productive soil when improved. See, when you use the manure into the sandy soil, this type of soil become very, very fertile soil. Then we say it has poor drainage. See, it has poor drainage. Why? Because there is no flowing of water on its surface. Why? Because the water, I mean, on the top of the sandy soil, it usually soak into the ground in an easy way. You see, these are some of the characteristics of what? Of the sandy soil. And most of the sandy soil originated from the sandstone. Sandstone is its parent rock. Then from there, let's see the silt soil. Silt soil, right here, the second type of soil according to texture. We have what called the silt soil. Silt soil, we say it's the type of soil according to texture. It is a type of soil according to texture with what? With a diameter size range from 0.002 millimeter to 0.02 millimeter. This type of soil, we call it the silt soil. It is a type of soil according to texture with a diameter size of its particle range from 0.002 millimeter to 0.02 millimeter. Its characteristic features are okay. The characteristics of the features of the silt soil. It is prone to more moisture content. See, it has more amount of moisture content. Then it is prone to soil erosion. You see, it's easier for erosion to occur. It is cemented. It is cemented during heavy rain. See, it means this type of soil, it's always cemented. it become compacted with each other, especially during the rain. See, so this type of soil we call it the silt soil. Then we go to clay soil as the third group of soil classification system according to texture. According to texture. So after silt, it means we have the clay soil system. The clay soil. It means we say it is a type of soil according to texture. According to what? To texture, they say with a less than 0.002 millimeter diameter size. Its diameter size is less than this one, than 0.02 millimeter. So it means it is a soil with a very, very fine particle size. It is a soil with a very, very fine particles size. Are we together? It is a soil which is made up of very, very fine particle size. It means its size it's very small. That's why you say it has diameter of less than this one, 0.002 millimeter, as we've seen before. Some of the soil type according to texture, for instance, silt and clay, they are bigger or larger than this one, 0.02 millimeter diameter size. So from there, let's see the characteristic features of what? Of the clay soil. Characteristic features of the clay soil. Characteristics features of the what? Of the clay soil. It is more productive of fertile soil. This type of soil is more productive soil. Then it become it expand. They say it expand when wet and shrink, and it shrink when it dry. Are we together? It means during rainfall, for instance, this type of soil tend to expand. And during the dry season, when there is no rainfall, this type of soil to shrink. Are we together? Another characteristic say difficulty to cultivate when become dry. It's difficult to cultivate when this kind of soil becomes dry. Remember, this is what we call the clay soil. Then they say it has good retention capacity. Are we together? It means it has the high rate of retaining water, see, on its surface than the other type of soil. So it has good retention capacity. So in that case, it has good drainage. See, it has good what? Good drainage. See, it means water can easily flow on its surface. There is a good surface runoff on this type of what? Of soil. Why? Because it is made up of a very smallest very few empty space. It means why there is very few empty space? Because particles, they are very fine. It means they are easily compacted, which allow water to flow in its surface in easy way. Then from there, we have the last type of soil according to texture. We call it the loamy soil. The loamy soil, it is a type of soil which occurs as a result of what? Of the combination of these three types of soil, as I've explained. So let's see what is loam soil. So in a simple way, we said loam soil will refer to the type of soil. Loam soil texture, it means refers to the type of soil with 20% of clay for water lodging and 40% of what? of it 20% of sandy soil, to allow easy soaking of water into the ground, and the rest 40% of it is silty soil. See, so loamy soil is a combination of the three type of soil according to texture. It means loam is a combination of what? Let me make summary here. It means loam soil texture is a combination of clay soil plus sandy soil plus silty what? Silty soil. See, so it means it gets the properties. 20% of it is clay, 40% of this one is, this type of soil is sandy soil, and the 40% of this type of soil is what? Is silty soil. So from there, if you are asked, please listen to me very careful, because this question most of the time it can, it may come in your examination, and you find that if student asked the explain type of soil or describe type of soil according to texture, you find them that they write, we have 4 type of soil according to texture. We have the sandy soil with this diameter, then they live there, they did not explain their properties. You see, we have the second type of soil is according to texture is clay, it has this diameter, and they do not mention or explain the characteristic feature of the clay soil. So remember, if you are asked to explain the type or to classify soil according to texture, it means you have to make sure you explain the characteristic of which type of soil according to texture is you have explained right here. Are we together? Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Let's see another system of classifying soil. Remember, we have the empirical system of classifying soil where it's based on soil texture, soil properties, and it would focus much on classification of soil according to texture. Let's see another system of classifying soil, and we call it the integrated system of soil classification. The geographers or the surveyors, we are trying to classify soil based on all aspects of soil classification system. See, but they were trying to group soil based on all aspects of soil development classification system. But right here, they were classifying soil according to order. You see, it means the time the soil it takes in its formation. So the longer the time, the more the mature the soil it is. So they were classifying soil based on what? On order. Okay, so in the integrated soil classification system, it means it's based on the, or it consider all aspects on the all aspects of soil development features. It's based on all aspects of soil development features, and right here they are trying to combine all soil classification system, and resulted to soil order as a system of soil classification. Are we together, class? It means in this system of soil classification, in integrated soil classification, they have combined all other system of soil classification, and right here they were trying to explain soil according to order. As I said earlier, when you say you classify soil according to order, it means right now you are classifying soil according to the time it passed. It take in its formation. That's why I said the more or the longer the time the soil takes in its formation, the more mature the soil will be. Then the less or the shorter the time the soil takes in its formation, it means the immature the soil will be. See? So let's see what type of soil or what type of soil have been classified according to order. According to order, they have classified soil into three main groups. According to order, they classify soil into 3 main groups. We have what we call the zonal soil order. We have the azonal, the intrazonal soil order, and they have the last one is the azonal soil order. Okay, so let's us pause here. Okay, in integrated soil classification system. So you will find most of the question. How are they asked? See, let's take one of the model questions. See, model questions. So describe type of soil according to texture, according to variation of soil particle size. See, describe soil type according to the time it takes in its formation. Are we together? It means sometimes they use the indirect way of asking the question. As you can see right here, model questions sometimes describe the type of soil according to variation of soil particle size. It means we have to discuss type of soil according to the variation of soil particle size. As we have seen earlier, it means we are talking about the diameter size of the particles of the soil. It means right now the first one, it needs us to explain type of soil according to texture. Are we together? Then the second describes the soil type according to the time it takes in its formation. Is that the idea that if you are classifying according to the time it takes in its formation, it means you are talking about the classification of soil according to order. Are we together? And I explained, I mentioned right here, we have 3 types of soil, or 3 main groups according to order. We have the zonal soil order, we have the intrazonal soil order, as well as the azonal soil order. So this is very important in understanding type or the classification of different type of soil in the model questions I have explained right now. So let's see what are these types. Let us explain a little bit of what is azonal, what is intrazonal, as well as what is azonal soil order. Okay, let us start with azonal, the zonal soil order. Let us start with zonal soil order. Is the first group of what? Of integrated scheme of soil classification. So we have what we call the zonal soil order. Zonal soil order. So zonal soil order refers to the type of soil with the first characteristic refer to the type of soil with what? With a very developed soil profile. You see, it has a very developed and defined soil. Developed and defined soil profile. It means its soil profile, soil defined, soil what? Soil profile. It means it is a type of soil with a clear soil profile. It is a soil profile with all the horizons, see, and other layers of the soil profile. That's why we say refer to the type of soil with a very developed and defined soil profile. Also, it takes more time in its formation. Are we together? It is the type of soil which takes more time in its formation. Then we said it has passes. It has passes all the stages and the processes of soil formation. It means it passes all the stages in the process of soil formation, from the weathering to eluviation, leaching, eluviation, humification, etc., etc. It means, so if it has all these characteristics, then you say it is a pure, matured soil. You see, it is a soil which has undergone the enough processes in time in its formation, so we call it the pure, matured soil. Example of zonal soil order are soil found in tundra in tropics, and some of them found in desert area. See, example, the saline soil. Saline soil is one among the soil which is pure matured soil. See, so this is what we call the zonal soil order. So you have to explain what is zonal soil order, as well as you have to mention its characteristic. Are we together? Then we go to the second type of soil according to order, which is intrazonal soil order. The intrazonal soil order. It means refer to the type of soil which is grouped with what? With its characteristics. As I said earlier, we group soil according to its own characteristic, which with a distinct feature or different features which distinguish it from the other groups. So intrazonal soil order refer to the type of soil order with a very developed and defined soil properties. See, but it has lacked some condition to be called pure maturity, as we've seen in the zonal soil order. In this part of the zonal soil order. So this one is also, it has a very developed and defined soil property, as I said, but it lacks some condition to be called the pure matured soil. Are we together? Let's see type of intrazonal soil order. So it goes the same characteristic, but it lacks what? It lacks what we call few characteristics to be called pure matured soil. Example of intrazonal soil order is, we have what we can classify them into three groups: the calciumovic soil, the halomorphic soil, as well as the hydromorphic soil. Are we together? It means these are type of soil which have very developed and defined soil properties. It takes more time in its formation, just as zonal soil order. It passes all the process of soil formation, just as we have seen in zonal soil order, but it lacks some conditions to be called pure matured soil. You see, it is enough developed. So example of intrazonal soil order, as I explained, we have the calciumovic soil, we have the allomorphic soil, as well as the hydromorphic soil. You see, let's see what is calciumovic soil. It means the calciumovic soil order, we refer to the type of soil which is found in area of limestone or calcium carbonate rocks. We call them the calciumovic order. And most of these soils, they have undergone what we call the calcification process in its formation. So from there, example of calciumovic soil what we call the terra rosa and the rendizina soil. Terra rosa will refer to the shallow chalk soil. See? It means it is a soil with a soft chalk. It is a soil made up of what? Of calcium carbonate rock, but which is soft rocks. It means it is a calcium carbonate rock which have undergone what? the hydrolysis process, for instance. Then it turned into from the hard rock into what? Into the soft one. Then we have the terra, I mean the rendzina soil. This one, it is reddish browny soil. It means right now the calcium carbonate has undergone what? Has undergone the oxidation process, and it turned into the 3 iron 3 carbonate. For instance, the feldspar. See, right now we call them the rendzina soil, or the reddish brown soil, and we have this one, the terra rosa, the shallow chalk soil. Then from there, this is calcimorphic soil. Then we have the halomorphic soil. Halomorphic soil we refer to the type of soil found in the halomorphic soil. What is halomorphic soil? It means we are talking halomorphic soil. Halomorphic soil. A type of soil found in areas of saltier rocks, occurred as a result of salinization process. We all know what is salinization process. Refer to the process where there is upward movement of salt, salty element from the bottom side of the soil into the upward or top layer of the soil. So what happened, it means right now the soil found here are salty in nature. Are we together? Example of halomorphic soil, we have what we call the solon check soil, as well as a solonate soil. See, these are type of halomorphic soil. Then from there, example, we have another type of soil which is hydromorphic soil. Hydromorphic what? Soil. It means these are the soil found in water-lodged area. They are found in water-lodged areas. Example of this soil is peat soil, as well as the clay soil. Clay soil. See, are we together? So you can classify intrazonal according to these 3 types of soil. Then from there we have what we call the the last one is the azonal soil order. It means refer to the type of soil with poor developed and not defined soil profile. It means it is a type of soil with no well developed and defined soil profile. It is a type of soil which have undergone very short time in its formation. It means it is a young soil. Are we together? It is a type of soil which do not passes all the process of soil formation. And we call it what? We call it the azonal soil order. Example of azonal soil order, we have the volcanic soil order. We have the type of soil found in steep slopes. Are we together? Those are examples of what? Of azonal soil order, the immatured soil order. Let's go to the last type of soil according to order. We have the azonal soil order. By making summary of this one, I said we have what we call the zonal soil order, where we call it the pure matured soil order, and we have seen its examples. Then we go to the intrazonal soil order. It means refer to the type of soil order which is matured soil, but it's not pure matured soil. Why? Because it has lacked some condition to be called pure matured soil. We have seen it is classified into calcimorphic, halomorphic, as well as the hydromorphic. Where in calcimorphic soil, as I've explained right here, refer to the type of soil which occurred in limestone areas. Many processes which occurred or in this process is what we call the calcification process. We have 2 types, the terra rosa, the reddish brown soil, as well as the rendzina, the soft chalk soil. See, then from there we have seen the halomorphic soil, a type of soil found in the area of salty rocks, occurs as a result of the salinization mostly, where we have the solon check soil as well as the solonate soil. There we have the hydromorphic soil, soil found in water-lodged areas. You see, we have two types: the peat soil, the clay soil. Then from there, we have what we call the ozonal soil order. The ozonal soil order. It means the ozonal soil order, as I said, refer to the type of soil order which is pure immatured soil. It is the soil which has the following characteristics, features of what? Of ozonal soil order. We say do not have well developed, do not have well developed and defined what? Soil profile. It means, in other way, it means its soil profile does not have all the horizons, all the layers of the soil profile is similar to the other type of soil. You see, that's why you say do not have well developed and defined soil profile. Then it do not passes all processes of soil formation. It does not pass all the process of soil formation, from weathering, leaching, elevation, humidification, etc. Both simple and complex process. We say it does not take more time in its formation. See, it takes very short time in its formation. So we said it does not take more time in its formation. We said it occurred in areas of disturbance. See, in the area of disturbances. Example, at the steep slope. See, in these areas we found most of the soils, they are immature. Why? Because they have not undergone full time capable of developing other features, see, without being disturbed by other erosional agents. That's why I say it occurred in the area of disturbances. Example, it's the steep slope. We know in the area of the steep slope, it's a point or area where other material are normally carried down the slope. So it's area or point of disturbance. Are we together? Then from there, we said most of this soil occurred in a poor climatic condition which do not favor the development of soil. See, example in polar area. It occurred in a poor climatic condition area which do not favor the development of soil. We all know most of the soil found, for instance, in the area of more water, in area of which is very cold areas. Most of the area, of the soil found there will not be able to develop into a full matured soil. So we said it occurred in the area of poor climatic condition. Example, polar areas. So example of this soil are soil found in steep slopes. You see, soil found in area of ice, the accumulation of ices, for instance, in Arctic areas. You see, or sometimes we say area found in, for instance, area found in desert area where there is too much wind blowing. You see, those of the soil found in those areas are ozonal soil order. Why? Because they will not take more time without being disturbed by erosional agents as the factor of what? Of erosion. So in this point we say ozonal soil order can be classified into several. As I explained, or examples, ozonal soil order, we have the volcanic soil found in desert area. Most of them are what? zonal soil order. So then from there, by making the summary of the today's lesson, remember I've already written some of the model questions and I have tried to explain them, because the first question it asked us describe different type of soil according to texture, and I have explained them. I said that you have to explain not only by mentioning the diameter size of each soil according to texture. No, you have to explain the characteristic feature of each soil according to what? To texture, as I have explained earlier. Then we've come to the second question, explain type of soil according to the time it takes in its formation. So make sure when you explain type of soil according to the time it takes in its formation, it means those are type of soil according to what? According to order. So we have 3 types of soil according to order. We have seen the zonal soil order, which is pure matured soil order. We have the intrazonal soil order, which it is a matured soil order, but it's not pure matured because it is lacks some of condition to be called pure matured soil. And we have seen some of the example of the intrazonal soil order. Then we have the last one, which is a zonal soil order. And we said these are type of soil which are immatured. These are young soil, see, which do not undergo all process and time, more time in its formation. These are young soil which do not have undergone all process of soil formation. Are we together? And I have trying to show example of a zonal soil order. So are we together? So the question right now will be simple. I'm sure if you are asked to explain type of soil according to order, it means you have to explain the zonal, intrazonal as well as the zonal. You have to explain the characteristic of each type of this group of soil order, as I have explained right in today's lesson. So until the next time, you are most welcome.